Okay, so this is lecture 7 of auditing concepts for CMA Intermediate June 2022 attempt, और ये आपका subject CAAP. Okay, so we are into lecture 7 of CAAP. ठीक है, तो यहाँ हमने बंद किए थे पिछला क्लास. So now we'll start with types of audit. ठीक है, so we're going to start with what? With types of audit. ठीक है, so main classification जो होता है for types of audit, so on the basis of independence, to the extent of independence, auditor कितना independence है, okay, independent है, how much independent is your auditor, okay, or interference of the client, और कितना interference है, okay, like internal audit में there is too much of interference, right? So this is first classification is based on either independence or interference of the client, okay, and then you can also classify it on the basis of function performed, okay. ठीक है, so चलो ये देखेंगे. So depending on independence or interference में first is statutory special audit by auditors. ठीक है, so ये this is not our ordinary statutory audit जो पढ़ते हैं, okay, this is not the statutory audit, this is statutory special audit, okay. So this is done by auditors appointed by the government. ठीक है, so they do their special audit and they report to the government authorities on the issues. So this is of the nature of investigation. ठीक है, कहीं पे कुछ investigation कब बोलते हैं, जब already कहीं कुछ problem नजर आ रहा है, okay. If you feel that there is some problem in a particular company or area or some scam is going on, then government can appoint their own auditors, okay. That will be called as statutory special audit, okay, and those auditors will be in the nature of investigators, okay. Okay, so this has the least interference of the client, okay, because they are now the auditors themselves are statutory authorities, okay. So client interfere kar hi nahi sakta. So this is the most independent audit, okay, without any independence. Auditor is generally supposed to submit a report to the appropriate authorities. ठीक है, so whatever उनको जिस चीज के लिए अपॉइंट किए होंगे, whatever they have been appointed for, ठीक है, they will submit a report on such matters, ठीक है, and in the form specified, whatever is the form, ठीक है, right. So normally for statutory audits you have got forms, so based on that they will submit the audit report, okay, and within a specified time frame. So they will have a whatever investigation is being done, they will have a time period within which they have to submit the report. Okay, so this can be for one or more than one financial years. Okay, depends on how deep is the investigation. Okay, and how big is the entity they are investigating. Based on that, it can be 1 year or more than 1 year also. Okay, so this is one statutory special audit. Okay, याद रखना है, statutory special audit. Okay, so next is our normal statutory audit. Statutory audit or cost audit. ठीक है, wherever cost audit is to be done, ठीक है, as per the regulations, then cost audit or tax audit. ठीक है, so these are ये जो audit है ये statute ने बताया गया है. Okay, so law has prescribed these audits. ठीक है, and they are done by independent auditors of the appointed by the company. So company appoints it, but these are independent auditors. Either company BOD is board of directors. This is board of directors, okay, or the client. Okay, so they are appointed to do this, and this audit is required as per statute. Okay, it has a high degree of independence. Okay, largely independent. Okay, the auditor will work in the way he is supposed to work. Okay, it will not be determined by the client. Okay, so level of independence is also specified in the governing statutes. So the statutes give a complete details on how the audit is to be performed. Okay, when the audit is applicable. Okay, the cost audit कब करना है, what level of turnover companies should do cost audit or statutory audit. Okay, all these things are prescribed by the statute. Even form of audit report is prescribed by statute. ठीक है, manner, content and time of submission of audit report, ठीक है, and to whom it should be reported, ठीक है, is all specified by the statutes, ठीक है, all these acts specified. Okay, so ये हो गया हमारा this is the main two, ठीक है, on the basis of independence. So the first two है where the auditor is largely independent, ठीक है, and then third one is internal audit where he is the least independent. Okay, so internal audit is he is least independent. He may or may not be an independent auditor. That means the internal auditor can be an employee of the company, or the company can have a contract with an external auditor to do their independent audit. Okay. So in both cases, this audit will be done as required by the management. Okay. So they are appointed by the management depending on the nature and scope defined and mutually decided. So this is the least independent type. ठीक है. अच्छा, दूसरा हमने दो देखे थे. सेकेंड वन वाज फंक्शनल क्लासिफिकेशन. ठीक है. ओके, सो बेस्ड ऑन व्हाट फंक्शन द ऑडिट इज परफॉर्मिंग. ठीक है. पहला वाला था वाज बेस्ड ऑन डिपेंडेंस ऑफ द ऑडिटर. ठीक है, इन द ऑन द अपॉइंटिंग अथॉरिटी. यानी जिसका ऑडिट कर रहा है उसके ऊपर ऑडिटर का कितना डिपेंडेंस है और कितना इंडिपेंडेंट. ओके, whoever the whichever entity is being audited, ठीक है, the how much is the extent of independence of the auditor as in relation to that entity. ठीक है, that was what we saw in the first 3 points. Here this is functional classification. This means, ठीक है, you can have a statutory audit of a company. ठीक है, this is the statutory financial audit which has to be done at the end of the financial year. Okay, so this is one thing. So this is financial accounts are being audited. Then you can have a statutory cost audit where cost accounts will be audited. Okay, then there is a secretarial audit also where secretarial records are audited. So these are based on functions, right? Financial audit is financial accounts, cost audit is cost accounts, secretarial audit is secretarial or the company law related accounts. Okay, company law related books. Okay, so that's why it's called functional classification. Okay, चलो ये हो गया हमारा. Next we are coming to a very very important thing. We can say the most important thing in auditing. Okay, because this is what is to be reported by the auditor. इसको बोलते हैं true and fair. Okay, the concept of true and fair is fundamental to auditing. Okay, it's very very fundamental. True and fair means what? Your balance sheet and your P&L. Okay, whatever transactions or figures are shown in your balance sheet and P&L, it is in all showing a true and fair view of the state of affairs of your company. ठीक है. So ये यहाँ पे ये होता है ना, देखिए बेसिकली होता क्या है. See, if I say okay, let us say, ठीक है, say this is your balance sheet. Okay, this is your balance sheet, and let us say that this is your P&L. Okay, okay, so what I'm saying is this is your balance sheet. Okay, and this is your P&L. Okay, okay, so now this balance, so the audit, so what true and fair says is whatever is there in the balance sheet or in the P&L, it is showing a true and fair view of the state of affairs of the concern. So now the affairs of the concern has not started on the day when balance sheet or P&L is being prepared. It started from the first day of the financial year. Correct? है ना? So that's why ये हम बोल सकते हैं कि this balance sheet, ठीक है, and this P&L here, okay, they are all dependent on all ledger accounts, correct? All ledger accounts maintained during the year, correct? This is ledger accounts, right? So if the ledger accounts have been properly maintained, that means balance sheet and P&L is going to be right, okay? If ledger account itself is not correct, then there is a chances that there will be an error in the balance sheet and P&L. Okay, okay. And then okay, now chalo ये ledger accounts जो है, they in themselves depend on books of original entry, correct? जो आपके journals है, ठीक है? So we can just say it depends on journals and the way, okay, let us say journals and vouchers, ठीक है? How the vouchers have been used for entry in the journals, ठीक है? Then start होता है, starting point is the vouchers and the proof of the original transaction. Based on that, you enter into these journals, okay? And after these journals are prepared, and if they are prepared properly, your ledger will be prepared properly, okay? Considering that there are no clerical errors, journal will be fine if your ledger will be fine if your journal is fine, okay? And journal will be fine if the vouchers are all maintained correctly and entered correctly into the journal. Finally, ledger, if the ledger is fine, your P&L and balance sheet will be fine, okay? So auditor is certifying. What is auditor certifying? That the balance sheet and P&L are showing true and fair view. So he has to be sure that the ledger is also fine. He has to be sure that the journal is also fine. Okay? Only then he can certify that balance sheet and P&L are presenting a true and fair view of the state of affairs. Okay. Okay. Chalo. So okay, true and fair view means what? It means state of affairs and operating results. Okay, state of affairs means talking about the balance sheet. Okay, operating results means P&L are truly and fairly represented in the accounts. They're represented in the accounts properly. Okay, this requires the auditor should examine the accounts with a view to verify all assets, liabilities, income, and expenses. Right, in your ledger accounts, what are the four nature of accounts which you will have? You will either have assets, you will either have liabilities, income, or expenses, correct? And these should be stated in accordance with the accounting principles and policies. Okay, so accounts have been properly made using the appropriate principles. Okay, तो ये सब हो गया, and then no material amount, item, or transaction has been omitted. Okay, so no material item is omitted. We always talk of material item. जैसे मैंने बोला है, कहीं जैसे किसी ने कोई वर्कर है, ड्राइवर है, he did made some expense and चलो 30-40 रुपए बच गया, उसने रख लिया जेब में. Okay, he made some expense for the company, he took some money, made some expense, remaining 30-40 rupees were remaining, he kept it in his pocket. Okay, now that is not material. Okay, okay, that's not good, that's another thing, but that is not material. That will not falsify the accounts as such. Okay, because material things have to be checked, that they should be correct. Okay, ठीक है, ये है आपका true and fair view. ठीक है, so what constitutes true and fair? This is not defined in any legislation. ठीक है, true and fair view has not been defined in any legislation. ठीक है, in the context of audit of a company, section 129, ठीक है, section 129, okay, it expressly states that for company, so it says that accounts of the company will not be deemed to disclose true and fair view. Accounts of company will not be considered as disclosing true and fair view if they do not disclose any matters required to be disclosed by Schedule 3. Okay? We know that accounts of the company are prepared as per Schedule 3. Correct? You have got a separate chapter also for that, how to prepare company accounts using Schedule 3, right? Company final accounts. So you all know already that accounts have to be prepared as per Schedule 3. If it does not disclose anything which is required to be disclosed in Schedule 3, then it is not showing a true and fair view. This is what section 129 says. Okay? Okay? So yes, point का कोई ज़्यादा वो नहीं है. There is not much importance of this point. It just says that sometimes government can issue a notification, say asking for some additional disclosures apart from Schedule 3. Then that also should be there. That's all. Okay. So ये है आपका true and fair view. So in general, true and fair view is not defined, but for companies, okay, what is defined is it should have everything which has been shown in Schedule 3. Okay, it is not saying that it should not have anything. Now anything else will not cause it to be not true and fair. Okay, it is not saying that. वो बस ये बोल रहा है, limited point is what is there in Schedule 3 that should be there. If you have missed that, then we will say that it is not true and fair. Okay, ठीक है. So ये जो all these disclosure requirements are minimum requirements. ठीक है. If certain other information is vital for showing true and fair view, it should be disclosed. ठीक है. And it is true and fair view is a matter of auditor's judgment. Correct. It is a matter of auditor's judgment. ठीक है. So he will see. So जैसे मैंने बोला, जैसे he might see certain things. Okay, this is not okay, but it is not making any material impact. So he will leave it. Okay? So true and fair view is a matter of auditor's judgment. Okay. So whatever he feels will falsify the final status of P&L and balance sheet. Okay? Those things he will consider for determining true and fair view. Okay. So यहाँ पे आपको एक छोटा सा list दिया है auditor. So there is a small list which tells you what should be seen, what the auditor will see to ensure true and fair view. Okay. So this in itself can be a separate question. Okay. So what are the items to be seen by the auditor to ensure true and fair view? Okay. Assets should be neither overvalued nor undervalued. Okay. No material asset is omitted. Okay. The charge, if there is any charge that is any lion or anything like that, any mortgage asset के ऊपर, that should be disclosed. Okay. If the value of the asset is 20,000, okay, but it has a charge of 12,000. Okay. Then the real value of the asset is how much? Is only 8,000. Correct. Okay. So which is why if there is any charge on the asset, you have to disclose it. Otherwise, the position will be a falsified position. Material liability should not be omitted. Like material asset should not be omitted. Material liability should not be omitted. But easily आप याद रख सकते हैं इसको. Okay. There's nothing in remembering this. Just see asset should not be undervalued, overvalued. That you know. No material asset should be omitted. No material liability should be omitted. If any charge is there, disclosed. Okay. The next is your regular point of profit and loss account and balance sheet. Profit and loss account discloses all matters required to be disclosed by Schedule 3. So profit and loss account is shown in part 2 of Schedule 3. So if you have done company final accounts, you would be knowing this already. Okay. And balance sheet has to be prepared as per part 1 of Schedule 3. So balance sheet is seen as number 1. Okay. Profit and loss account is seen as number 2 always. Okay. So which is why just that way you can remember that's why balance sheet is in part 1 of Schedule 3. Profit and loss account is part 2. Okay. So as required by Schedule 3, all matters should be disclosed. Okay. By the profit and loss account and balance sheet. Okay. And any exceptional items. Okay. So any exceptional or non-recurring items, these have to be disclosed separately. ठीक है, they should not be mixed with the regular transaction. Okay, so ये 6 चीजें आप बहुत easily you can remember. Okay, write in your own words आराम से. Okay, ओके सो देन चलो ये हो गया. ट्रू एंड फेयर व्यू की बात के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट है. ट्रू एंड फेयर व्यू का कुछ ना कुछ आता ही है. ठीक है, इसको आप अच्छे से करके ही जाना. बिल्कुल मैं बोल रहा हूँ ट्रू एंड फेयर व्यू, क्योंकि ये कॉर्नरस्टोन है ऑडिटिंग का. ओके, दिस इज द कॉर्नरस्टोन ऑफ ऑडिटिंग. सो जस्ट दिस ट्रू एंड फेयर व्यू पार्ट टिल द एंड, टिल दो 6 पॉइंट्स वी डिड. ठीक है, जस्ट डू इट वेल एंड गो. ओके, ठीक है, ट्रू एंड फेयर व्यू तो आता ही है. ओके, समथिंग और एट लीस्ट 4 or 5 marks somewhere you will get it. Okay, in auditing, because in auditing if they do not discuss true and fair view, then some major part is left. It's kind of that. So true and fair view and materiality, these two are very very important. Okay, okay. Now concept of materiality in planning and performing an audit. ठीक है, so next देखेंगे हम materiality. ठीक है, materiality यानी importance. What is material? मतलब material means is it material means क्या ये important, वो उस point of view से material है. Okay, so concept of materiality in planning and performing an audit. So I'll just take you back to standards one more. हमारे standards tab में, correct, wherever कल हमने देखा था ये, right? So here we had seen, ठीक है, from SQC1 to SA 299. ठीक है, SQC1 was not quality control for a firm performing audit or assurance work. Okay, the firm के लिए number 1 quality control. ठीक है, now SA 200 onwards are the general standards. ठीक है, SA 200 says overall objectives. Okay, and then 210 is agreeing to the term of audit engagements. ठीक है, and then 220 is quality control for an audit of financial statements, then documentation. ठीक है, then we said fraud and laws and regulations. ठीक है, so these two we considered as twin. ठीक है, no, fraud and laws and regulations, and then communication with those charged with governance and those charged with governance and management. ठीक है, this we considered as twin or joint. ठीक है, that's why this became joint auditors, responsibility of joint auditors. Okay, so एक बार बस बोल के देख लेना. When if you do it for 5-6 times, you will at least remember to a large extent. Okay, and after that यहाँ पे 300 का सीरीज आता है हमारा, SA 300. Okay, ठीक है, in 300s there are only 4. ठीक है, 4 चीजें हैं. Okay, so if you see this 300, 315, 320, 330. Okay, और यहाँ पे बस ये याद रखना, after 260 it is 265 and 299. ठीक है, बस ये दो numbers are different, 265 and 299. ठीक है, and then यहाँ पे 300, 315, 320 and 330. Okay, so then 300 is audit planning. ठीक है, planning and audit of financial statements. Okay, ये audit planning. और next is risk of material misstatements, identifying and assessing the risk of material misstatement. ठीक है, is there any major misstatement? ठीक है, material मतलब anything major. Okay, anything very important. And then ये है आपका 320 is materiality in planning and performing an audit. So this is what this section is what we are referring. Sorry, this essay is what we are referring for materiality, which हम पढ़ रहे हैं. Okay, what we are studying, we are referring to essay T320. Okay, materiality in planning and performing an audit. And 330 is auditors responses in relation to assessed risks. ठीक है, okay, so ये क्या क्या है थोड़ा बहुत मैं आपको I'll give you an introduction at a later stage. Right now just मेरा motive is that you should be familiar with these the names of these standards. ठीक है, इसीलिए मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ. In every class I'm trying to just quickly revise it for you. Okay, so in the end you should be able to know the number of the standards and the name of the standards, if not exactly, roughly the name of the standard. Okay, right? So जैसे अभी 315 है, जैसे आपको you do not need to remember fully identifying and assessing the risks of material misstatement through understanding the entity and its environment. इसका जरूरी नहीं है, ठीक है? So identifying risk of material misstatement, this is sufficient. Okay, चलो. Okay, so this is हमारा 300 series has been over now. ठीक है? After that 400 में there is only 402 and 450 that we will see later. ठीक है? Then this 500 series is important. Okay, this is important. चलो. Okay, ठीक है? थोड़ा थोड़ा करके हम देखेंगे. You will easily remember it. और यहाँ पे जो है we have what your accounting standards. Ind AS also I'll put in. ठीक है? So AS1 is disclosure of accounting policies. ठीक है? AS2 is valuation of inventories. AS3 is cash flow statement. ठीक है? So in your you have got cash flow statement. ठीक है? आपके कोर्स में है, that is AS3. Okay, cash flow statement is done as per AS3. ठीक है? Remember this. And then AS4 is contingencies and events occurring after the balance sheet date, and AS5 is net profit or loss for the period, prior period items and changes in accounting policies. ठीक है? तो यहाँ पे आप देखोगे, यहाँ पे बैलेंस शीट का जो नाम आया है पहले आया है, देन P&L प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस का नाम बाद में आया है. ओके, हियर आल्सो. सो जस्ट फॉर रिमेंबरिंग, यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड दैट AS4 is contingencies and events occurring after balance sheet date, and AS5 is net profit or loss. ठीक है? तो Ind AS भी हम देखेंगे. ठीक है? कोई ये नहीं है. ठीक है? जो IAS का आपको उतना अभी जरूरत नहीं है. ठीक है? IAS में there certain things if you remember, मैं आपको ये IAS को मैंने इस तरह से डाल के रखा है यहाँ पे. ओके, दैट you can tie it with your AS. ठीक है? ये Ind AS नहीं है, ये जनरल AS है. These are general AS. Okay, so AS, this is also issued by CAI, and Ind AS is also issued by CAI. ठीक है? So accounting standards board ने ही दोनों has issued both. Ind AS is specifically for Indian conditions. ठीक है? And this AS is from a general point of view. Okay, so यहाँ पे जो है ना, जैसे आपका AS2 is valuation of inventories. ठीक है? तो यहाँ पे your international accounting standards में भी IAS2 is inventories. ठीक है? 1 and 2 are fine, but your cash flow statement is IAS7. Here it is AS3, there it is IAS7. So कुछ चीजों का नंबर मालूम रहे तो it's good. Sometimes कुछ ऑब्जेक्टिव वगैरह में आ जाता है, so it just helps little bit if you know. इस तरह से यहाँ पे मैंने what the way I put it is IAS. ठीक है? As per your ये इसके, ठीक है, इसके साथ मैचअप किया है मैंने IAS. ओके, दिस इज हाउ वी हैव पुट इट. ठीक है? Ind AS का भी लिस्ट वी विल ऐड. ठीक है? तो चलो. ओके, फाइन, ये तो ठीक है ना. अब क्या कर रहे हैं हम? कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ मटीरियलिटी इन प्लानिंग एंड परफॉर्मिंग एन ऑडिट. ठीक है? सो मटीरियलिटी यानी कितना इंपॉर्टेंट है वो चीज. ठीक है? जैसे मैंने बोला कि somebody has just he has bought something and 30-40 rupees remained, he put it in the pocket. ठीक है? That's not a good thing. I'm not saying it's a good precedent, but so यहाँ पे तो मैंने 30-40 बोला. Just think like there are 5-10 rupees remaining, they have just kept it. ठीक है? To buy some say BDs or whatever. Okay, some workers have kept it. So auditor will not pay too much attention to those things. Those are small things. ठीक है? Because he has got less time. In that time he has to concentrate on the major things. As I said, I had compared it with your course. Correct? Your course is very large, है ना? CMA का your course is very large, so you will not be able to, like now there is almost, you can say, 35 days remaining for your exam. Okay, roughly about 35 days are remaining now. So now can you cover the entire syllabus in this much of time? It's not possible, right? So you will have to see the material chapters. Okay, the most important chapters, and you have to go for it. Correct? At this point of time. So that's what material means. ठीक है? So ये concept हर जगह हम use करते हैं, because you always have the constraint of time vis-a-vis to do what your objective is. Time versus your objective, there's always a discrepancy. Okay, so you have to match up your time. So whatever is your objective, you have to go for material things first. Okay, chalo. So that is materiality in planning and performing an audit. So materiality is one of the basic fundamental concepts in accounting and auditing. Okay, so it's a continuous process. Okay, materiality ऐसा नहीं कि आपने once आपने एक बार देख लिया बस this is material हो गया. ठीक है. So ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि you have seen, okay, there are say 10 departments. Now you cannot audit everything, but you have seen that there are 6 departments who are the main contributors to the revenue. So you have decided, okay, these 6 I will audit first. Those 4 are just little bit supporting entities, supporting kind of things, so I can leave it. Okay. So you have chosen this 6. Now from this 6 you have entered 1. That itself is a very big department. Now inside that again you will apply materiality. Materiality showing, okay, in this department what are the main things which I should test. जैसे हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना, नब्स पकड़ लिया हम लोग बोलते हैं नब्स. Correct, you have caught you've caught the pulse. Okay, you have to catch the pulse. What are the main things? Okay, so इस तरह से, so there is an application of materiality continuously wherever the auditor goes. Okay, he has to see material things. So, and if he checks material things, his checking will be better also. He can give more time to the important things. Okay, so right, chalo, okay. It covers all stages from recording to classification and presentation. So मैंने बताया, everywhere you will have to judge materiality. ठीक है? Auditor has to constantly judge whether a particular item is material or not. ठीक है? So what is not material, he should leave it. What is material, he should focus on that. ठीक है? Right? Right. ठीक है? So SA 320 on materiality in planning and performing an audit. So SA 320 अभी हमने देखा था. I had shown you, right? So it is materiality in planning and performing an audit. So यहाँ पे this is the statement of that. Okay, here is the statement of SA 320. Concept of materiality is applied by the auditor both in planning and performing the audit. For planning also, he will see what is material, he will pick that. And when performing the audit also, he will have to see materiality. Okay, because transactions are numerous. Okay, for bigger companies, it will go into lakhs. It is humanly not possible for the auditor to check everything. Okay, so the concept of materiality is applied by the auditor in both planning and performing the audit. Okay, and in evaluating the effect of identified misstatements. Okay, so he will see many misstatements. Okay, one misstatement is what I said, 5-10 rupees the driver has kept in his pocket instead of returning. Okay, that is also a misstatement. Okay, but so he will evaluate the effect. The effect is not much, he will not even talk about it. Okay, evaluate the effect of identified misstatements in the audit and of uncorrected misstatements. And whenever he finds misstatements, that has to be corrected. Okay, he has to make sure that it is corrected. Okay, he has to see the effect of the misstatements on financial statements. Okay, so now kya ye to hai, but what is materiality? Materiality of an item may influence the economic decision of the user and is a relative term. Okay, so a material item can influence the decision of the user. Okay, there can be one thing, see, one item of revenue. Okay, so for example, there is the company is showing a profit of say 50 lakhs. Okay, and there is one exceptional item. Okay, but they had sold some subunit, and out of that they have received 40 lakhs. So this 40 lakhs is not your normal operating profit. So if a user sees this 50 lakhs, he'll take decision on the basis of 50 lakhs, correct? He'll think, oh, the profit is good, so I should invest. But had he known that 40 lakhs is exceptional, so actually only 10 lakhs is the real profit, then his decision could have been different. So that means this figure of profit, okay, is affecting the decision of the final user, correct? So that means it is a material item. Okay, ठीक है. So materiality may influence the economic decision of the user, and it's a relative. Why a relative term? ठीक है, because if it is material for one company, it may not be material for another company. ठीक है. So auditor should consider materiality and relationship with audit risk. ठीक है. The greater the materiality, the audit risk is also greater. ठीक है. Material items, if you by mistake you forget to check material items, then audit risk will be high. Okay. ठीक है. Okay, so it requires that auditor should consider materiality and relationship with audit risks while conducting an audit. ठीक है. And he requires more reliable evidence to support material items. ठीक है. अब यहाँ पे जो देख रहे हैं हम इसमें, no item is material in all circumstances. What may be material in one may not be material in another. Okay. ठीक है. It may be a statement. ठीक है. There can be a statement, okay, which is material. ठीक है. There can be an omission which is material. There can be a misstatement. ठीक है. So any of this can be. Misstatement is it is material in a negative way. Statement is it's material in a positive way. ठीक है. And an omission is also is also material. Okay. So material कुछ भी चीज हो सकता है basically. Okay. Anything can be material. Okay. So now the main factors to be considered for determining materiality of an item are, ठीक है. So main factors for determining materiality of an item are, ठीक है. ये भी important है. In separately this can be a question. ठीक है. Factors to be considered for determining materiality of an item. ठीक है. क्या क्या कैसे आप determine करोगे? One is individually. ठीक है. It's very very simple. Okay. Individually means you will take a payment of ₹1,000 maybe material in a small business, but even 1 lakh could be material in a very big business. ठीक है. So you have to see वो business के लिए वो amount कितना important है. Okay. So that how much is what is the importance of the amount for the business. Okay. So that particular business. So there you are seeing individually. Correct. So this is individual. Then next is aggregate. Sometimes certain things you have to see individually, some things you have to see aggregate. Okay. That is, so if you see income from one investment, it could not be that much. Okay. If you total all income from investment, it becomes material. Okay. Then legal considerations. Okay. So legal considerations are always important. Correct. So if they have not followed any legal considerations or statutory things, then it is very material. Okay. So if the example here is, if appointment of director is not according to law, then remuneration paid to him is material. Okay. Even if it is a very small amount of remuneration. Okay. Still, if they have not been appointed according to law, then his remuneration goes under the heading of material item. Okay. Right. Then next is legal definition. Okay. Sometimes materiality is defined in law itself. Schedule 3 example we took. Okay. And in Schedule 3, separate disclosure of all expenses exceeding 1% of turnover is required. All items exceeding 1% of turnover has to be disclosed as per Schedule 3. Okay. And you have to write off capital assets purchased for less than 5,000. Okay. So here, whatever is defined as in a statutory way, okay, that you have to follow accordingly. Okay. So even if it's a small item, but you have treated it in a wrong way, okay, then it becomes material item because you have not adhered to the statute. ठीक है. आपने statute को नहीं माना है, तो वो item अगर even उसका value छोटा भी होगा, so that will be material. Okay. Then relative overall impact. ठीक है. So overall impact is to be seen in certain things. ओके. यहाँ पे जैसे शॉर्ट रिकवरीज फ्रॉम डेटर्स. ठीक है. डेटर्स everywhere there is a short recovery and the total of that amount could be great. Okay. It can be a big amount. So relative impact has to be seen. Qualitative. ठीक है. So it's not as necessary that a material item will always be a figure. Okay, it can be qualitative also. Okay, that is improper disclosure of an accounting policy in the notes. They have not disclosed accounting policy in the notes, okay, correctly. Okay, so that can become a material item. Okay, although there is no figure attached to it. Okay, an insignificant quantity but special context. ये जो बोल रहा है, this is like, for example, you are using an accounting software where 666 is rounded off as 0.67. In one item, if you see, it is not a major thing, but when the transactions become huge, okay, this can become a big amount. Okay, right? It's possible that even right now, this is not causing any major difference, but in future, when your revenue becomes much higher, it will then become, it will have a major effect later on. Okay, so इस तरह से ये 6 points है, बहुत simple है. Okay, ये वाला भी आप याद रख लो. All जो tabulated questions है, they have their own importance. Okay, so main factors to be considered for determining materiality of the item. Factors to be considered for determining materiality of an item. So ये सारे हैं. बस main points, headings you should remember. Other things you can easily write. ठीक है? Okay, not necessary that you should write all examples also. Okay, चलो, next point will be disclosure of accounting policies. ठीक है, ये in itself ये AS1 में आता है, हमने देखा. ठीक है, I had shown you in standards. ठीक है, this is your essays and this is your accounting standards. AS1 is disclosure of accounting policies. Okay, ठीक है. So now we'll talk about disclosure of accounting policies in the next class. ठीक है, so I will say continue. Okay, so we'll continue that in the next class.